What up, Vibers? It's your boy Kai. Welcome to another episode of The Vibe with Kai podcast. In today's episode, we're diving into a topic that many of us face: how to survive the holiday season when you have some difficult family members that are involved. Yeah, I think everybody listening and watching right now can probably think of one or two people that that might make their holiday season a little difficult when it comes to family gatherings. And I know it can get stressful, but today, Chelsea and we have your back. Speaking of Chelsea, I'm super excited to have our guest back, Chelsie Maccarone. I think at this point you have become my most frequent guest.
Cool.
I think that's the thing.
There was a point where somebody out guest appeared,
I know.
and
I
I'm
know.
back now.
Now I think you're just running away. You're running up the score now. So I'm proud of you. Thank you for coming back. Chelsie Maccarone is our guest today. For those of you that do not know, she is a licensed mental health counselor with over 9 years of experience, and she's known for her holistic, down-to-earth approach to therapy. What I love about Chelsea is how she makes therapy feel like a chat with a close friend. We had a little chat before, or a little impromptu therapy session before we started recording today. And that it's like chatting with a close friend. I mean, she is a close friend to me, but even if you don't know her personally, it's just like that's the kind of chats that she has. She's all about balancing your life and finding your inner peace, and throwing in a laugh or two when life gets a little too tough. Plus, she's a big fan of yoga. And I didn't know this. I think I read this when I was doing some additional research. You're into weightlifting. Is that true?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Really?
I know. I still
Huh.
do research. Even though you're a freaking guest, every time you come on, I'm like, I need to find out something new about Chelsea.
Yeah, I am. So before COVID shut the whole world down and I became a mom, I was warming up with squats at 285.
That's it. I'm kidding. Okay. That's awesome. I had no idea.
Yeah, I was shredded. It was great.
I had no idea. That's amazing. So the reason I bring this up is because, friends, that means that she knows how to keep both your mind and your body in check, my friends. And today we're talking about how to handle those tricky family gatherings and setting healthy boundaries and staying calm when emotions run high, especially this season where we have politics happening and stuff. Chelsea's got tons of practical tips to help you navigate the season with a little more zen and a lot less stress. So grab your favorite snack, get comfy, and let's vibe today. Welcome to the podcast, my friend Chelsie Maccarone. What's up, Chelsea?
Hey, thanks so much for having me. It's always a
Thank you for
good
coming
time.
back. I'm so
Yeah.
happy that you're not sick and tired of me yet.
No, never.
You know, like, thank you for not being sick and tired of me.
Yeah, no, I'm not sick of you. These are fun. Like I enjoy listen, like I don't have as big of a reach, right? And the whole reason I went into mental health counseling is so I could help people, right? And so what better way than to help a mass amount of people than have a platform like this, which I don't have and I don't know how to build. So I'll just guest appear as much as I can and help more people
I
every time
like
I
it.
come.
I like it because you're helping tons of people, and now you're becoming a household name in the Vibe with Pi community. So that's a good thing. Why this topic? What made you decide that you wanted to talk about this topic of family issues potentially during the holiday
Yeah.
season?
Well, I mean, it is the middle of October, so we are starting to like once Halloween hits, forget it. You got Thanksgiving, you've got,
Yeah, just back to back to
back
back.
to back to back. And I'm sure there's some holidays that I'm like not recognizing. I know that there is Diwali. Am I saying it right? I
You're
know it's
asking the wrong
okay.
person.
Well,
I don't know.
it's a Hindu, I think,
Okay,
holiday that's coming up.
okay.
And then we have
Boxing Day, is
Boxing
that a
Day, we have
thing?
Hanukkah, we have Black
Yeah.
Friday. Let's talk about Black
Black
Friday,
Friday,
Christmas,
Kwanzaa.
New Year's. My birthday's
Uh-huh.
in there somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. And so like and this is the around the time that people have tons of family gatherings, and it's especially tough because, and I mentioned this in the beginning, it's also like political season now and big presidential election coming up in like 15 14 days. And
People
so
are like losing
yeah,
family members over it. It's a
yes,
whole thing.
yes, people are losing friendships and family members. It's a little crazy. So obviously the holidays though are supposed to be a time about joy and connection, and it just doesn't seem that way sometimes, especially when dealing with family dynamics. Why do you think that is? Why do you think the holiday season intensifies these emotions and these tensions within family?
I think part of it is a lot of like this pressure and this like pressure to perform and this pressure, like, I mean, we see it on like the Hallmark movies, like the overbearing parents. So, are you married yet? Like, when are you guys having kids? And like,
Yeah.
so there's like a lot of pressure too, especially like if you don't live near your family of origin or family that you're celebrating with. And it's like, pressure of, well, what's your career doing? What's your romance doing? Like all this stuff. And it's like, if you haven't, or if you perceive that you haven't had a lot of growth, it could feel like, crap, I'm a failure. Oh crap, I don't want to face them. So there can be that kind of pressure. You can have like family members who maybe growing up, like it was an abusive home. There was
Hmm.
alcoholism, there was whatever. And it's like, now I got to see these people again. Now it's like
Hmm.
triggering. There could be, like abusers from childhood that like
Yeah.
maybe you haven't seen and nobody knows and you don't want to say anything. And, you know, so there's like lots of like different like weird things. And I say weird, but like not weird, but like bring up weird
Sure.
feelings for you when it comes to the holidays and like seeing family members that you haven't seen in
Right.
a while or that you see all the time. And it's just now we're jam packed into this house and it's like,
Hmm.
we got to cook and we got to make things on time and we got to do this
Hmm.
and it's like hustle and bustle. A lot of people are traveling during that time. So
Hmm.
if you are traveling, now you're like dealing with that and delays because it snows in parts of this country. And like it can be just kind of really chaotic and hectic
Yeah.
and financial stress and emotional stress. And it's like, it's
Hmm.
a lot.
It is a lot. It's a lot coming at many different angles, right? So let's start like about talking about like preparing for something like this, right? So let's
Mm-hmm.
just say you know that you're going to a family dinner, whether it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever it may be. You're going to a holiday dinner, and you know that there's going to be somebody there in your family that you just either don't get along with or you have a history with, a negative history with. If you know this is coming up, what can you do to prepare yourself for this situation?
Absolutely. I think that's a wonderful question. And we slightly touched on it already. I think like the first thing is just acknowledging that there is stress. Instead of like, it's fine, everything's fine. No, like normalize this holiday stress. Normalize that people feel overwhelmed because of family dynamics, financial pressures, feelings of loneliness. Like just normalize it, like recognize it, normalize it, and validate those emotions. So I think that that's like the first step, really. Just it's okay not to feel joyful all the time during the holidays. Maybe you lost a parent, maybe you lost a sibling, somebody passed away. Like it's okay to not be like joy to the world. Like it's okay. And recognizing and accepting those feelings is really like the first step in managing them. So I think
Right.
first things first, acknowledge it, normalize it, validate.
Right, right, right. Do you think people should reach out to the person beforehand, or should it just be one of those things that you just kind of
It
acknowledge
depends.
it personally?
I think it's a pet,
Yeah.
right? So every family's got like a different thing. I'm trying to think of like a good example, but like sometimes, sure, yeah, you might want to be like, hey, mom, can you please not bring up my ex-husband at dinner because I'm bringing my
Hmm.
new boyfriend? Like,
Right.
sure. But like if it's not safe, if the stepbrother is going to be there and when you were kids, used to lock you in the closet and molest you and nobody knows, you might not want to like out it at Christmas
Hmm.
time.
Sure.
So I think it just depends on the dynamics and like what you want to, I guess, focus on, which establishing healthy boundaries is a good way to, excuse me, a good way to kind of like go into this like stressful holiday time. And when I say boundaries, and I don't know if we've had this conversation before, but like when I say boundaries, sorry, I keep clicking between my notes and you, but um, when it comes to boundaries, there's a difference between a request and a boundary. Have we talked about this before?
No, no, please go on.
So I'm going to use like this as an example, and it's a pretty surface level, benign example, but like let's just say my boundary is I don't want phone calls after 5 p.m.
Hmm.
And most people would say the boundary is don't call me after 5, Kai.
Hmm.
That's a boundary I set for myself.
I'm sorry, I called you at 5:01.
Right. But
Relax,
telling
Chelsea.
you to not call me after 5 is actually the request. The
Mm.
boundary is not answering my
Mm. That see, I it's like a switching of the way that you perceive it, right? Like okay, I see what you're saying.
phone.
And I think setting boundaries is like it's important because like I think people need to understand that setting a boundary, it's not you pushing people away. It's you legitimately establishing that boundary to protect yourself. And you're
Mm-hmm.
not pushing people away. You're protecting
Mm-mm.
yourself.
Exactly. And we're not requesting anything from the other person. It's literally
Right.
just something that we're doing for ourselves. And so practicing saying no, if I don't know, if your parents live across the country and they want you to come home for Thanksgiving or whatever the case is, and you look at flights and you're just like, I can't afford this, it's freaking me out, but you say yes, now you're going to be stressed out. Your boundaries have been crossed, but if you
Right.
say, no, I can't come on Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever because the prices are this high, but how about I come January 15th? The price is tank. I can afford
Hmm.
that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I often find that like a lot whenever I talk about family related things on my platform, one of the things that people say to me quite often is that it's harder to sometimes establish boundaries and to say no sometimes to family members because they're family, right? Because it's not like a coworker or a friend or some random stranger, right? These are people that you grew up with. So how does one navigate that? Like, I guess you feel because they're family, you're like beholden a little bit more to them.
mhm.
How do you navigate setting a boundary with a family member?
So I think a big part of it is recognizing the family dynamic in and of itself. Is your mom constantly requesting these high demands and you're constantly saying no and then conceding anyway? So now you're teaching her how to treat you. You're teaching her that if she puts enough pressure and puts enough, emphasis or guilt or whatever, that you'll eventually say yes, right? So sometimes when those are the dynamics, it makes it even harder to start establishing those firmer, So I think a lot of the times it's recognizing what your battles are. So, for example, if you don't have the money in your account and you're trying to pay off debt and you don't want to put it on your credit card, and she's, oh, just charge it, and you don't want
Uh-huh.
to and you can't afford it. I think just really getting, I guess instead of just saying no, mom, right?
Uh-huh.
Telling her why no, and then offering another solution. Mom,
Right.
like I'm really trying to get out of debt. I know you want me to succeed financially, and this is just out of reach. If you have
Uh-huh.
points and you're willing to lend me your points, I will use your points. If we can come up with some other solution, if it can come a week before or a week after, or, whatever the case is, but this, I can't afford the $1,000 ticket or whatever
Sure.
it is, I think it's about aligning with that family member emotionally. Like, mom, I want to see you too. Like, it sucks. Like, it really does suck. And I'm sad about it too, but I've got to stay firm on this if I'm going to get to my financial goals,
Uh-huh.
you
Yeah.
know? And so it's like really practicing that in the mirror. It's really I think also feeling solid in your decision too. Because I think sometimes it's hard to say no because you want to say yes. You want to see
Uh-huh.
those family members. You want to go and do the thing,
Uh-huh.
so being responsible sometimes feels harder. So it's easy to say
Uh-huh.
yes and then set
Right.
yourself back.
Right. So I want to jump to kind of like in the moment processing things, right? So like
Yeah.
let's just say you are at this family dinner and like you go in expecting things to be weird, but whatever. Like it's like, okay, well here we go. It's another Thanksgiving dinner. Uncle Bob's going to be there. Uncle Bob gets drunk and yells at the TV screen, whatever. Like, whatever it may be. How does one process a potential issue in the moment? Like, what should a person do if while at the dinner things do start to escalate? How does one protect themselves in those types of situations?
So I think if you're talking about things escalating around you and you're kind of like a silent observer, it's okay to take like that bathroom break and give yourself those moments and step away. If they're escalating with you, it takes two people to escalate a conversation. And so I think presence is also super, like a mindfulness is also super important, because if we're aware of like our own triggers, and if we're aware of like our own responsiveness to the triggering person or the escalated person, we don't have to feed the fire. We can align with them. I can see how frustrating this is for you, Uncle Joe or Uncle Bob. I don't remember the name you used, but
Joe Bob.
Uncle Joe, Bob Joe. I can see it's frustrating for you. I don't share the same sentiment, and that's okay. And if he continues to go, because maybe he had a couple too many drinks or whatever, and he continues to go, say, you know what? I'm going to go see if Aunt Cheryl needs some help in the kitchen. Do you want something while I'm in there? And you can just, take the high road. It's not
like
worth...
you're not acknowledging it to a point where you're not continuing that escalation up. You're kind of diffusing it in a way.
Yeah. I think it's really important.
That's hard, especially when like if there's doing or saying something that is just like either very triggering or hurts your pride, or you can see them hurting people around you or your children, even whatever it may be. That's hard. That's really, really difficult.
It takes a lot of emotional control.
Yeah. How do I get some of that? Can I buy that? Can I Amazon Prime that for the holiday season?
No, but you could probably start practicing it now for the holiday season.
How do we do that?
There's little things that happen in our like daily lives that trigger us. And maybe it's not the same way as that one uncle that's sitting across from us over turkey dinner, but there are little things. And so when those things start to happen, recognize, oh, that triggered me. How can I respond differently? Or in the moment, I'm feeling triggered. Let me take a few deep breaths, recognize that this is a me thing and not so much a them thing. The guy who cut me off in the parking lot, right? Maybe he wasn't being a jerk. Maybe I just drive a roller skate and he didn't see me,
Right.
And just kind of like really starting to shift your perspective so that you're giving people grace. You're kind of like giving them I'm trying to think of like another way of saying that other than giving them grace. So just give them grace. And then, kind of like falling on the sword, like, oh, maybe I messed up. Maybe I didn't notice something. I think working on practicing it when it's not as triggering as that family member is really helpful. Sorry, I have something in my eye.
Okay.
Okay. Driving me nuts.
I see you scratching your eye. I'm like, I think her eyeball might fall out. I think it might.
It's very distracting too. Sorry, guys. This is why I don't wear makeup or false eyelashes or anything like that, because I'm always like,
oh man, do you need to wash your eye out?
No, I think it is an actual eyelash though that like fell off. Anyway, good morning.
That's frustrating. You need to set a boundary with that eyelash.
Not a request. So I'll just hold my hand here so that they don't fall in.
Set a boundary. It is always tough to like kind of like fall on the sword, right? Sometimes because like a lot of times you want to like let them know how you feel. You want to let them know like, hey, you're in the wrong here, and I want to make sure you understand that.
Right. But my question to you about that statement is the family dinner the place to do that?
Probably not.
Right. And
probably not.
And that's what you have to tell yourself in that moment. Now is not the time. This is not the appropriate setting. Should I revisit this conversation at a later date? Probably, but not right now. And like, you just kind of like repeat these mantras to yourself. Like, he's obviously hurting himself because hurting people hurt others.
Right.
And he's going through it. And that's why he's saying these like jerky things.
Right. So like so you had mentioned before, if somebody is, say, like you're kind of like a bystander watching everything go down, that might be a good time to, go outside for a walk real quick or something real quick. But at any point, should you ever play peacemaker? Like, should you ever try to de-escalate a situation? It may not involve you specifically, but is there ever a time that you feel that a person should just be like, hey guys, can't we all just get along?
I think it just depends on your family dynamic. I
Yeah.
think if you are constantly the peacemaker in your family
Mm-hmm.
system, then maybe not. Let somebody else take
Mm-hmm.
that role. See how it plays
Yeah.
out. But if you normally aren't peacemaker and like let's just say mom and dad are going at it or whatever, you can
Mm-hmm.
just be like, hey guys, can we table this? Like and
Mm-hmm.
like eyeball to your kids or something like, can we not
Yeah.
do this? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah, I don't see why not. You can probably catch it before it escalates too if you're aware of
Yeah.
your family dynamics. And I think the only time that I would say a hard 99.9% of the time to intervene is when it has to do with your children.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
I
Or
accidentally
if
muted
there
myself.
might be some sort of like physical thing that might happen
Correct,
maybe.
correct. I mean, but
Yeah.
like with, for example, like when it comes to like young children, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, come give Aunt Edna a hug. And the kids are like, I don't
Right.
want to, and she's like, oh, just do it like that. Yes,
Right.
intervene and be your
Right.
kid's
Right.
voice. Like, no, my kids don't
Right.
have to hug people that they don't want to hug, but they are not allowed to be rude. So say hello to Aunt Edna. Do you want a high five? Do you want to use your
Right.
words? Do you want, how do you want to say hi? That's when I say 99.9% of the time, I can't even think of a 0.1% where you shouldn't, but
Uh-huh.
always intervene. Be
Right.
your kid's voice. Don't let
Right.
that weird uncle, weird aunt kiss them on the
Mm-hmm.
mouth when they don't want it.
Right.
Like if they're uncomfortable, like
Mm-hmm.
intervene 100% of
Right. Right. So let's just say you obviously the dinner table may not be the time and the place to have the conversation. When is the right time, right? So like let's just say, you're like, hey, can we table this for right now? And whatever. And let's just say maybe sometime later that day or that evening, you pull them to the side or whatever. How does one approach that part of it? Like how do you express either what's bothering you or what went wrong, whatever it may be, in a healthy, productive way?
like, hey, cousin Kai, you know, I appreciate you starting that political conversation at the dinner table. Like I can understand your views and I value your views, but I just think when you start name calling and criticizing,
Mm-hmm.
it really hurts me because it feels like an attack on me because we don't align politically. And I want to like we're cousins, like we love each other and I love our friendship and I love all the things that we've grown up with. I just hate when you attack me and I don't know how we can have this conversation without an attack. Um, you know, so you're kind of like validating their feelings, bringing it
Right.
back up, but then also
Right.
like, this is how I'm feeling and how do we have a solution? Like,
Right.
people
Right.
aligning with that.
Right. When is the line crossed though? Like when is it like a point where it's like, you know what, I'm going to not try to talk to you about this. I have to either remove myself from the situation or just avoid you at all costs. Is there a line that's like okay?
Yeah. I think when you have someone who's irrational, who doesn't care, like if I said that to you, cousin Kai, and cousin Kai goes, well, fuck off, who cares?
Right.
Snowflake.
Right.
You know
Who
what I mean?
cares? The
Who
the
cares?
turkey was the turkey was really bad. I like it better.
That's hilarious. Um, but sorry, not to get political. But yeah, I mean, I think if they just completely blow off your feelings, then you can just say, okay, they don't have compassion either right now or in this stage or for this topic, but right now, like they're not able to, sorry, my cat, they're not able to have this conversation
Did
right
your
now.
cat? It looked like your cat like legit like took a chunk of skin out of you. Like that's what the
She
reaction looked like.
clawed me and then got stuck on my leggings and like
Oh,
kept
I hate that.
like trying, and I was like, she's gonna rip a hole.
Yeah.
She's gonna rip a hole. And yeah, your cats have not made their appearance or their debut yet, but
They
mine,
have not. They're actually behaving themselves right now, and I don't know. I don't know why. This is really odd. One's either usually posted up right there whenever I go live or whenever I'm talking to somebody. They post up right there, but it looks like they're just chilling on their tree. They're both
yeah,
dead asleep right now.
that's so cute.
Yay! I know they're adorable, but they're monsters sometimes. But I love them. They're my monsters.
Yeah, mine are elderly, so the monster era is kind of going
Oh,
out.
yeah,
Because of all the rain we've been having, some of the insects have been coming
yeah,
inside for shelter. And my cats are like, it's there. I can see it. Or like it's right in front of me. It's here, but I'm not gonna kill it. I'm not gonna do anything with it. I'm just gonna look at it. And I'm like, but your cats, like, go get it. Like, what are
right.
you
Go
doing?
do what you do
Don't just
best.
at it, like get it.
Yeah, my cats, they will destroy legitimately anything. Like I can't even have a Roomba. I had a Roomba, like one of those things. They were
Love it.
attacking it as if it was like another animal. I was like, relax, it's trying to clean up your shit.
Yeah. So here in sunny South Florida, we have
Yeah.
really big lizards,
Yes, you
like
do.
really big lizards. And my cats are indoor cats, but their
Mm-hmm.
litter box is in the garage.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes lizards get in the garage.
Mm-hmm.
Well, seeing your 15-year-old cat comes running up the stairs with a fucking dinosaur in its mouth. And he is
Oh
so
no.
proud of himself. It's hanging out of his mouth. And he's like, look what I got, motherfuckers. Like, sorry, I'm cursing a lot
Oh
today.
my gosh.
Comes
Wait, was it alive?
It was alive. It was this big, we call them rainbow lizards. I don't know the real, like maybe your viewers know. They're like iridescent blue, green, gorgeous lizards. They kind of like
Uh-huh.
move like a skink, but they're lizards. Anyway, it's like this big, the body, not the tail. The body is this big, then the tail. Coming up, and he lets it go. And now we have this dinosaur right in the house. The cat's running after it, and it's chaos. And
Oh
it's
my
injured. So
gosh.
now it's like a bloody trail.
Oh,
So they
did
won't mess
did
with the insects, but the lizards, it's so
that your cat was so proud. Your cat was like, I got dinner.
yes. He
I
was
brought you food. Right.
looking
Wow.
at his pants to get it.
And so I take it that you've caught it since then.
No, my husband got it. I didn't get it.
I don't trust anything low to the ground. Like I can try, I'll deal with cats and some dogs, but like anything that's like very close to the ground, I don't mess with. You
I
can
used to
stay
have
away
those
from me.
kinds of pets. Like I had reptiles, like they don't bother me, but wild reptiles, I'm like, you're gonna bite me and it's gonna hurt. I
Yeah,
don't want.
no, I'll pass.
No,
I'll pass.
like my bearded dragon was cool as shit. He didn't. He was cool, but
Is he not here anymore?
no, he passed away. I had
I'm
him for like
sorry.
12 years. Yeah, he was old.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was like a long time ago. He was like buried in the yard of my old place. Like that's how long ago he died.
You set a boundary with your cats. You need to have a talk with your cats, setting boundaries.
Well, then that would be
Let
a
them know.
request.
That's true. You're
The
right.
boundary would be for
You're
me to
right.
just shut the door.
That's true.
Instead of
That's
don't come in
true.
here while I'm working, I just need to shut the
Right.
door. But I didn't. And so now she's laying here at my feet
So
licking
this is
herself.
your fault.
It
Got
is.
it. Okay.
It is. It
Okay.
is. We
All
teach
right.
people how to treat us and animals. So it's our
Yeah.
fault because it's our lack of boundaries. So if our boss is like
Very true.
constantly berating us and yelling at
Uh-huh.
us and we continue to allow it, we're teaching him that
Huh.
that's an okay boundary to cross.
I always love when you're here dishing out some knowledge. What other pieces of advice do you have for those of us heading into the holiday season when it comes to those difficult
I made a
family
whole
members?
list. I made a whole
Yeah.
list.
Bust it out.
So setting realistic expectations.
Mm-hmm.
This was a big one is like avoiding perfectionism, embracing imperfection.
Mm-hmm.
Because the holidays really come with like unrealistic expectations about how everything should be, especially like
Mm-hmm.
these Pinterest days. The
Yeah.
table needs to look like this. The decorations should be like this. And
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of like pressure there to like perform and look Pinterest perfect and whatnot. And so I think just with the perfectionism, just like
Mm-hmm.
embrace the imperfect things, really just focusing on creating meaningful moments rather than perfect gifts, perfect meals, perfect events, but like just having those like good, meaningful interactions and moments and mindful times, really.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the healthy boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
limiting toxic interactions.
Mm-hmm.
So just like gracefully handling difficult family dynamics, like we said, excusing yourself from a heated conversation, setting limits on time spent with toxic people. So we didn't talk about this one, but like if that toxic person is going to be at the dinner and you don't want to out it, then maybe just, say, okay, we're going to go to my family's dinner for the dinner or just the dessert or whatever. And we'll go to my partner or my friend or my neighbors for the rest of it. And so you can kind of limit the time so you're not exposed to it for so long.
Right. That's another good example of setting a boundary.
Mm-hmm. Self-care during the holidays. That was, I know we've talked a lot about self-care, but like really just making time for scheduling downtime for rest, exercise, relaxation, even amidst holiday plans. Like, so for example, if you're flying out or whatever, and you normally have like a workout routine or whatever, just go for a jog, go for a run if the weather permits, before you start in all the festivities. Just really maybe instead of like going out to the family kitchen for breakfast immediately when you wake up, read your book in the morning before you head out, just make sure you're really having some time for you. And we talked about the financial boundaries and sticking to a budget.
Right. Well, we're all rich, so we don't need to do that, obviously.
Even rich people need to the budget. Let me tell you, if you make $1 million a year and you spend $1 million in one, you are still broke, my friend.
Facts. Factual information.
Yeah. So I'm not a financial advisor at all, but living below your means will really help you with finances. Yeah. So financial stress is really common during the holidays. So talking about setting a realistic budget for gifts, activities. Ideally, when talking about this kind of budgeting, I say budget at the beginning of the year for the end of the year holidays, so that it's not a surprise, so that you're not like, oh crap, like I don't have the money, but like really budgeting for it.
Right.
Also putting emphasis on non-material gifts, right? Highlighting the value of thoughtful, low-cost alternatives, handmade gifts, experiences, things like that. I forgot what we were talking about as far as what I'm answering, but my notes, it goes on to say,
you're just dropping some final pieces of knowledge for
so some of my notes, talking about combating loneliness, right? Reaching out for connection. I think sometimes maybe the holidays, it's lonelier because you don't have those family dinners anymore because your family's either out of the country or no longer with us or whatever the case is. So really connecting with friends, joining holiday events, volunteering. I know one year when I was in college, like I did like like you handed out turkey to like needy families or whatever.
Yeah.
And if I tell you like how warm that it made my heart feel. So maybe volunteering, just being around, people, who need help, or being around like friends. And if you don't have that family, so that can help reduce the feelings of isolation. Creating new traditions. Sometimes we need to let go of old traditions. Families change. It's okay to create new holiday traditions that better suit your current lifestyle. Maybe religions change. I know sometimes religious beliefs do morph. So letting go of some of those old traditions, personalizing the holidays. Maybe it's cooking a new meal, creating a new ritual, spending some time alone in a meaningful way. Maybe it is making it a habit every Christmas morning to go to the cemetery. I don't know, just kind of finding something more personal for the holidays. I think we kind of talked about this, like gratitude and reflection. Really just taking a time to reflect on what you're grateful for can shift your mindset away from the stress and more towards the positivity.
Absolutely, for sure.
And then I think, just having a gratitude practice, whether it's journaling, whether it's sharing daily gratitudes with loved ones, using gratitude prompts. So we just had Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and, Yom Kippur is like repentance. And so that actually turned into like a new tradition for me, because now it's like, yes, I like made my apologies and I repented and all that stuff. But now I started texting the people in my life every once in a while what I'm grateful for from them. I'm so grateful I have you as a friend because of blah, 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 blah. I'm so grateful for my mom and I had some time together. We were going to the opera. I'm so grateful we had that time last season, the opera. Like, I can't wait to create a new tradition this year. Like, whatever, just like little gratitude things sprinkled. And that can really help as well. And I have two more. So seeking support, reaching out for help for those feeling overwhelmed, just seeking out support from friends, family, and if needed, a mental health professional. If it's crisis, know about your crisis hotlines. If you're really struggling, last year was like, it was crisis, have those resources on hand in case it does get to that point. And then we talked about enjoying the moment. So, having that presence over perfection. So I guess I only have the one.
That's awesome. You just dropped a bunch of little nuggets there for people.
I did my homework this time. I didn't forget the topic.
You always do your homework. Get out of here.
Get out of here. The topic.
There was one time you didn't do it. You've been a guest on my show for like 4 years, and you've only did your homework once. But even then, you still had the knowledge to just go. If I didn't acknowledge, or if you didn't acknowledge that you didn't know what the topic was,
you wouldn't have known
beforehand. We would have never known. And you still came in and you're ready to go.
Yeah. I know sometimes I talk really fast, but it's because I have so much information to give and I'm kind of passionate and excited about it. And I have seen some of the feedback from some of your viewers that I talk too fast.
You're talking to a Northeasterner. So like.
Yeah, but your listeners aren't always. Anyway, so I just wanted to apologize to them, but they can maybe
don't need to apologize. They'll be fine. They can watch it like at a slower speed. We can talk more about drama. Yeah. Yeah. No, I appreciate you, and I appreciate the knowledge that you always bring. I guess I'll have you back at some point in the future. I guess so. No, I always appreciate you, and for anybody that's listening or watching right now, are you able to help people in both Florida and New Hampshire? Is that how it works?
So I have a therapist that is on my team that is licensed in New Hampshire. So I have a group practice. It's not just me. It's me and 3 other therapists. But yeah, and then I know we talked about it, but I'm hoping in 2025 I can drop my coaching platform. And the reason that I'm saying coaching is because the licensing only allows me in Florida. So if I'm coaching and not doing therapy, I can do it nationwide. And so I'm trying to get that together to hopefully drop in 2025.
Well, fingers crossed. I hope that happens. And in the meantime, if you're in Florida or if you're in the Hampshires, you can go visit Healthy Minds More online. I'll include all of the information within the description of this podcast. That way you can just go check it out, click and become a client, because you're going to get more great information like this with my friend Chelsie Maccarone. And that's Chelsie with an IE, not an EA. Want to make sure that that's correct. What's funny is because I talk to you more than like any other Chelsie in my life, and they all spell their name EA, but like I'm at a point now I talk to you so much that I think that they're spelling it weird now.
Spelling it weird. My mom spelled it weird. I did nothing to my name. I just born into it. Like, here you are.
That's so funny. I saw somebody online. Their name was Daphne, not Daphne. Daphne. Because why not?
Parents, do better.
It's a pretty name, I guess.
It is, but we don't need to confuse our children.
There's already much confusion going around about.
She's gonna have to learn how to spell that name while she's trying to learn how to read the English language. That is confusing AF.
That's true. You're not incorrect.
Yeah.
So
can I
plug?
You,
Daphne. Can you plug?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
So I don't know how many viewers you have in South Florida, but in January we are having a wellness event. The date is to be determined. but we will have a personal trainer, a massage therapist, a nail tech. We're going to be
The
doing
in-person
it
thing.
is an in-person thing.
Ooh, can I
A
come?
wellness event. You can, absolutely you can. We're doing a wellness event. I'm going to be doing talks about parenting and like struggles with parenting and like things postpartum. And you'll get some like really good merch, I think, too. So we're putting it together. We're going to be struggling to put it together in the next 3 months.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, once you have all of the details, let me know. And not only will I put it out to all of my South Florida vibers, but I want to try to come myself. I want to attend and be a part of your event.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. And then we finally get to meet in person.
If we don't meet in December.
If we don't meet in December, that's very true. That's very true. But you said you don't want to come to Miami.
I'll come to Miami for you, Kai.
That's so sweet. Thank you so much. I knew we were friends. Thank you, Daphne. Oh
You're welcome,
my God.
Kyra.
Love it. Friends, all of Chelsea's information is going to be in the description of this podcast. Go check her out. Go check out her practice, learn a little bit more. And in the meantime, when it comes to the family gatherings, this take a moment, take a breath, go in, set a boundary for yourself and to protect yourself and people
Hide
that
in
you
the
care
closet, call
about.
your therapist.
Hide in the closet. Go hide in your car. I hide in the car all the time. Whatever you need to do to protect your well-being, because that's what's most important. So with that said, thank you, Chelsie, for hanging out with us today. Everybody else, much love, good vibes, and I will talk to you later. Goodbye. Wow.